I think the IWC does a lot um, of bitching, so to say. I don't want to go off on a rant here, but it seems that you're never satisfied on what goes on. So you keep asking, when is the WWE gonna build new stars? And when that happens, they're the people that you don't want built. Antonio Cesaro, Justin Gabriel, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback. This is the problem I have with people that say Ryback didn't deserve that spot. Ryback didn't deserve this. Ryback doesn't need to be facing Punk. You people don't even look at the big picture. You just see what's in front of you. Now, to the people that have been bitching for the past couple of weeks about Ryback's build and how he's not ready for the main event spot, clearly not seeing the bigger picture or the end game after it's all said and done, which is basically building new talent. He's been developing. He was in the same tough enough that The Miz was in. They fought to get a spot. When Ryan Reeves was eliminated from the Tough Enough, WWE called him and said, "Hey, we want you to go to developmental because we think you have a great look." Yeah, big body, you know. So he was in OVW. They built him as a Terminator-like gimmick called Ryback. It worked to some degree, but he was in development. And they put him in the first season of NXT. With, you know who the rest of the people are. I don't even have to tell you. Skip Sheffield. Yeah, the cowboy gimmick didn't work. But what did everybody want? Everybody didn't want the cowboy gimmick. Everybody wanted the Ryback gimmick. Because that's all they were talking about, the Ryback gimmick. So, he breaks his ankle. He's out for a couple of months. And he comes back in April of this year as Ryback. Okay. He was Terminator-like, but they moved him away from that as the months went on. And he prospered. He has a good push from it. The undefeated streak worked a little bit. But it was more about domination rather than a streak. Okay, you face two guys at a time. Okay. And he's faced credible opponents. Like the last couple of weeks, he faced The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. There weren't long matches. They were just to prove a point that he's a monster. And he could smash through whoever's in front of him. Now, heading into Hell in a Cell last night, people were still, Ryback doesn't deserve the spot, Ryback doesn't deserve the main event. Okay. Look at the person who endorsed Ryback. Okay. Cena endorsed Ryback, and apparently he and Punk endorsed Ryback backstage. So you think he sucks, but yet in a way Cena and Punk do agree that there needs to be new talent coming forth. And so Ryback was in the main event. Yes, it was due to circumstances and Cena's injured elbow, but it happened. It worked. The crowd, week by week, was steadily behind Ryback. And yes, the Goldberg comparisons and him wearing RVD's old tights. That shit's old already, people. Goldberg and RVD. Yeah, you put them together and you got Ryback, blah, blah, blah. The shit's tired, the shit's old. Get over it. You could say that Ryback is a Goldberg impersonator all day long. But at the end of the day, it's not going to affect Ryback. He's still going in the ring, smashing heads, and walking away. Goldberg, RVD's tights. See, it bothers me because you like to compare to old stars and not look at the stars that are currently on the rise. And yes, I said RVD's an old star. That's why he's in TNA. No disrespect. Goldberg didn't even like the wrestling business. He just wanted the money. Now, the point I'm about to get to, yes, I got all the star thing out of the way and the build, was the Hell in a Cell finish, which a lot of people just went off on Twitter about. God, this finish was poor. God, this finish was stupid. It's the worst finish I've ever seen. I was expecting Brock to go through the cage. I was expecting a Russo finish. I got a Russo finish. Whether it was interfering or a ref screw job, which is what happened. They tend to not see, once again, the logic in everything. Now, people were all on this pay-per-view yesterday saying, even before, saying that it's probably going to be the worst card in WWE history. It wasn't. Solid pay-per-view. Was it better than Bound for Glory? No, it wasn't better. It wasn't better than Bound for Glory. But it held its own. Every match was top quality. Every match was quality wrestling. They want to see the finishes of the matches and just bitch, but not see the quality that the matches had. Yes, the tag match ended in a DQ. Did you see the match, or were you just pissed off because of the finish? It was a great match. The DQ, you should like the DQ because the rivalry's moving on. The storyline's going further. Big Show's clean win over Sheamus. People bitching about a clean win. You wanted interference in that match? It was a clean finish to a championship match, which we haven't seen in a while. A clean finish with a title change, in which the heel went over and got the title. Face facts, it was the best Big Show match I've seen, and probably you've seen in a long time. But yet, people shit on shows saying, oh, his title reign's going to be meaningless. Now you got the Hell in a Cell ending. Referee lowballing Ryback. Punk with a small package. And also the referee who put his weight at the end of Ryback's legs while he was counting the fast count. People didn't see that. People just saw Punk with the small package and the ref doing the fast count. But the ref put his weight also in the back of Ryback's legs while he did the 3 count. And people still bitch. Worst ending I've ever seen. Bad finish. Blah, blah, blah. Number 1. Punk looked like a coward because he's a heel. Get that point across your head. Number 2. They weren't going to make Ryback look weak in a Hell in a Cell. Especially if it was his first title match. And if you're building him, you have to keep him strong. And logic. What I've said last night on my Twitter feed. Logic and furthering storylines had to happen at this pay-per-view. Because you only have a 3-week build towards Survivor Series. Logic. It's what it was all about last night. Logic and furthering storylines. Yes, it was a 6-month build. And yes, you know, the card wasn't as good as you thought it was. But yet the quality of the matches were still good. Kofi Miz, good match. The Divas match was acceptable. Show and Sheamus, match of the night. And you expected shit out of this match. You expected a shitfest. And this match delivered. Like I said, Big Show's best match in recent memory. And it was a great match. It was match of the night. Hell No Road Scholars, great match despite the DQ finish. It was a great match. Why was a DQ finish? Because it furthers the storyline and it's logic. It makes sense to have that happen. Ryback Punk. Ryback lost. Punk still has his title reign intact. Despite the finish, what finish would you like to have? Lesnar, if you wanted a Lesnar finish, that would mean he would have wasted a day out of his contract to just do a run-in. And WWE needs to have Lesnar for the rest of his contract during WrestleMania season, which starts, in my opinion, WrestleMania season starts at Survivor Series. Because that's where everything starts taking shape. So, you have him. Don't waste a day on a run-in. Was it the best finish in the world? No. But it was a finish that had logic. It was a finish that had to further the storyline. It was a finish that made sense. And yet you still bitch. I'm not going any further with this. I'm done.